Welcome back, guys, to another video brought to you by your one and only Literary Pharaoh. Let me tell you guys something. Let me let you guys know something right now. I saw a video about I don't know what the video was on. It was like a short that came on my feed, and I was just curious about it. The title said something to the fact that something about black kids, black students, and it was referring to their behavior in school compared to other races of students in schools. And it was a substitute teacher who was giving she was sort of giving her rendition or some sort of her feelings or her background information about the things that she dealt with, that she does deal with when she goes to these different campuses, because she's not housed on one campus. She's a substitute teacher, so she's going around to different schools. So one commonality or one constant that she witnessed is that she talked about how the Hispanic kids who don't comply tend to do it a little bit more discreetly, and they'll be on their phones kind of like hiding it out, but they stay to themselves. They're not really like loud and boisterous. She didn't talk about the Caucasian kids, but then she jumped to the quote-unquote black kids, right? And she said black students, and she said that these students are more combative. They give you more lip service back. So if you tell them something, they're more likely to use their words to come back at you. So basically, they're not only defiant, but they're defiant in a much more aggressive way. So they're saying something back to the authoritative figure that's giving them a directive. So they don't take redirection very well. And she was saying this. So in my head, I understand what she's talking about. I get it. But those aren't black kids. Those are the N-words. Those are the Iggers. I'm gonna say Iggers because I don't want to use the whole word here on YouTube to get my video pulled. I want to use that word. Those are Iggers. There's a difference between Iggers and black people. There's a huge difference. Don't lump all black people as that. Now, the black students that are acting that way, that's Igger behavior. The N-word, that's an N-word behavior. When you act in ignorance, you have no home training, and it's not a fault of their own. A lot of it is genetically induced through the experiences that the mother has had. Not all black students are created equal or created the same. And I applaud the quote-unquote black, and I hate using the word black, but I'm using it for the sake of this video. But the black kids that do come to school and do what they're supposed to do, I commend them. There are many more of them that we don't talk about. But we also know that in life, the loudest voice gets the most attention. So negativity drives everything that we do in our world today, that we seldom, hardly if ever, pay attention to the things that are good. So when the substitute teacher was saying these things, and mind you, the substitute teacher is a black lady. When she's saying these things, I'm like, okay, I hear her, but those are Iggers. Those aren't black people. Okay? Those are Iggers. So get that right. Black students don't act that way. Black students are smart. Black students are athletic. Black students are respectful. Black students are courteous. Black students work hard. And black students are gifted in one way or the other. Gifted maybe physically in terms of sports. They may be gifted in the fact that they may know how to sing. They may know how to write poetry. They may be great readers. Black people are marvelous people. The people she's talking about are Iggers. And that's a negative genetic dysfunction that's bound up in those black people. They're Iggers. Just because your skin is black doesn't mean they're black. Your behavior is what tells me who you are. Have you ever heard a white person sing a song and the white person may quote unquote sound black? You ever heard that before? Though the person's white on the outside, but they have a soulful voice. And you say, man, for a white lady, she sounds black. Or you may hear a Caucasian singer put a little bit of soul into his music. And you're like, man, the guy sounds black. Or you'll hear a white boy rapping. You're like, man, this white boy sounds black. Well, black is a standard. So how can the standard now be used as the as the low bar or as the rating tool to discredit a particular, band of students. No. When you have a disability in terms of a genetic disability, that genetic disability is what makes you an igger. It's sort of like a kid being born with a dysfunction, with the brain dysfunction, neurological disorder, or a social communicative disorder, and they can't communicate well, and they have an issue. Yes, the child is still human, but because of their issue, you have to classify them or identify them in a different way. So yes, these kids are black. Generally, that's the umbrella term to put all black people underneath the one umbrella. But when you start to get a knife and do your incisions and comb through surgically and find out what they really are, they're iggers. The N-word, the niggers, that's what they are. That's nigger behavior. That's what that is. Okay? So next time when anybody gets on your YouTube channel or an Instagram feed, I want you to be correct. Now, I know it's a term that people don't like to use, but there's a difference between iggers and black people. Let's call the iggers for who they are and separate ourselves from igger behavior. All right? And hold ourselves to a higher esteem, because you can't lump us in the same boat. Those iggers have a mental biochemical dysfunction that drives their behavior because their hormones are off. Maybe they're drug babies because they were induced underneath that sort of environment, underneath drugs. Epigenetics has played its role. Genetic factors, generational factors, chemical imbalances. I could go on and on. That's what makes them who they are. That's what drives their behavior, because typical kids are going to be defiant, but those Hispanic kids that the lady said, that the substitute said were doing it quietly, well, that's normal. Because I was a kid too. I was never disrespectful to adults. Was I a clown? Was I a class clown? Did I get in trouble? Yes, but you would never hear me go back and forth with an adult. If an adult said something, I kind of will get quiet. Because I feared adults. I feared my father. I respected my mother. I didn't want the teachers to tell my parents that I did something wrong. So hey, I don't want to get in trouble here. So when you have no regard for authority, and you don't take correction well, you don't take criticism well, and you lash out at adults as if you guys are on the same level, you are an igger. You have a mental disposition, one that puts you in a state of being a corrupt human being. There's a difference. Iggers and black people are not the same.